time for another Fan Friday Talk Story here with ESPN Honolulu. And one of the more popular teams, programs in the University of Hawaii Athletic Department is, in fact, men's volleyball. Hey, they won the national championship last season. And one of the players on the team this year is outside hitter Kana'i Akana. Came from Punahou, right?
Yep.
Okay. Punahou initially went to BYU, then transferred back to the University of Hawaii, and now here his talents are with the men's volleyball team. So, Kana'i, I want to say thank you. First of all, thanks for being a part of Fan Friday.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
So, you guys just had the winter or Christmas break and stuff. So, was there like a break in the volleyball training as well? Because I know you guys' season is like starting like pretty much around the corner. How did that whole scheduling work out for you guys during Christmas?
Yeah, so we've had about a 2.5 week break. We actually just started going back into double days. Today was our first day of that. So we ended practicing about a week before finals started, and then obviously finals happened, and then we got Christmas with our families and started back up today. So we had about 2.5 week break.
So is the body sore today?
Oh man! I spent a couple extra minutes in the ice tub after.
Because sometimes people forget that college athletics and college teams. You think about, the season is in this time. Like for you guys, it's in spring, but you guys actually have a fall training, kind of like football. There's spring training and they play in the fall. So what's kind of like the calendar for you from the fall or August all the way through the end of the season? What does that look like?
So right around late August, we start practicing, and we're in what's called the 8-hour training block. So basically we get 8 hours or our coaches get to allocate 8 hours for training and lifting. So what we normally do is we'll go 4 days a week, just an hour of weightlifting. So that's 4 hours. And then this year we did 2 practices on Tuesday, Thursday for 2 hours. So that, totals 8 hours, and that lasts about a month. And then towards the end of September, we basically kick it into full gear and start practicing 20 hours a week. And that goes throughout the whole season, with the exception of this past winter break and some holidays. But yeah, our season is definitely longer than I think a lot of people may think it is. But with that, it's a great opportunity for us to just keep training, and our coaches are amazing. So, as much time as we can get in the gym is definitely helpful and beneficial and all that.
So if I get the calendar correct, so let's say you start from toward the end of August, you go all the way pretty much until Christmas break, right? The fall semester ends. And then after that, now you're starting because your season's about to start. So you're going to be in your 20 hours per week kind of thing. Season hopefully runs all the way till May, right? When you have the NCAA tournament. So in essence, really only about half of May, June, July is when you kind of don't have UH men's volleyball. Is that about right?
Yeah, pretty much. And well, even during that, a lot of us are still training, obviously off-season training for when we come back. But yeah, it's really a year-round commitment.
Do you play on the beach like during the summer? Like I know you have this family history of guys who play on the beach. How about you?
Oh yeah, beaches. I don't know if I should be saying this, but I almost like beach more than indoor. It's since I was in like 7th grade, we would just get a bunch of my buddies and play basically every day in the summer. And for all the young volleyball players watching this, beach is a great way to just cross train for indoor. There's a lot of things that you can take from the beach game and apply it to indoor and vice versa. And on top of that, it's just a great workout, and it's always good to be in the sun. And I just love beach volleyball. So yeah, definitely get a lot of beach volleyball in the summer. Not too much during season, but that's all right. We get enough volleyball during season.
No doubt. And when I mentioned the family connection, as I'm looking at your bio, your grandfather, Tony Crabb, was a former University of Hawaii assistant men's volleyball coach with Alan Rosehill. And then you have cousins, Taylor and Trevor Crabb, who were AVP beach players. So I can imagine the family picnic. There's about multiple nets up on the sand, and the balls are just going back and forth. And it's not just jungle gym volleyball. It's like power two-man games all over the place.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I distinctly remember, like, a couple of years back, we had this family picnic and someone just brought like a grass net. And my cousins Taylor and Trevor were there, and it always starts off as just like this fun, friendly game. And then as it gets closer to 21 or 25, whatever we were playing to, it gets a lot more intense and a lot more competitive. But volleyball is a big topic in our family, comes up in almost every family dinner we have, and it's just a big part of our lives.
When did you actually start playing? How old were you?
I started playing when I was 11. Funny story about that. I hated volleyball for my first 6 months. My mom had to drag me to practice every day. Glad I stuck with it. Thank you, Mom, for making me stick with it.
So from 11 years old, you're starting to play. When did you kind of get that awareness that I'm pretty good at this?
I don't like to think I'm that good. Obviously, we like to be confident in ourselves, but I always think there's room for improvement. But I noticed myself, starting to make major improvements in my game when I was around 13 or so. And it just kind of went up from there.
And were you always taller for your age, or did you get some growth spurt, like maybe from 13 to 15, something like that?
Mm-hmm. When I was 12, I was, yeah. Oh, that's a good question, actually. I think I had a major growth spurt in 8th grade. I went from about 5'10" to 6'3" over the course of that year. And then I've grown about an inch since then.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, it was an interesting period. And middle school, it's a weird time period. Everyone's growing into their bodies, but I was just this gangly looking kid. Like to think that I grew into my body a little bit better, but I'm not too sure.
Kana'i Akana here, joining us from the University of Hawaii men's volleyball team. And everyone, you initially went to BYU. So, everyone, when you're graduating from high school, whether you're in athletics or just being a student, your decision of where you want to go to college, that's a big one. Can be a little stressful, right? But what was your kind of reasoning to, A, want to go away to the mainland, and then secondly, picking BYU initially?
That's a great question. So funny story about that. So when I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to play volleyball, pursue that at the D1 level. And obviously I loved UH, but I just wanted to experience what the mainland would be like for me. So at the outrigger tournament that we host every year, UH was actually playing BYU. And that was a great match. BYU unfortunately won in 4. Well, fortunately at the time. And it was a super high level volleyball. And I remember watching that and thinking, man, like, these are two powerhouse teams. I want to go play for a team at this competitive level. So that was a big factor in why I went to BYU, is actually that match.
When you went there, was it like a little bit of a culture shock for you? There's a lot of local guys I know out there, but how was it for you initially?
Yeah, it was definitely a big culture shock for me. Just the two different religions, the religious aspect of BYU was something new to me. Another thing was just how cold it was up there. It gives a great opportunity to layer and have great fashion that Hawaii doesn't always give us that opportunity. It's mainly just board shorts and a shirt. But man, waking up at 5:30 for weights or whatever, we do that here, but waking up at 5:30 up there and it being 10 degrees outside, and when I was driving the weights, my steering wheel was frozen. It made it a lot easier to decide to come back home when I chose to make that choice.
And then you kind of led right into the next question, the obvious one, right? Because you're there. You were there for what, 2 seasons?
Yep, 2 years.
And so you're kind of seeing that I want to have a change. I know it tends to be a combination of things, right? You want to kind of change, but was there any one or two things that kind of stuck out? Was it the volleyball part of it? Was it the school part of it? Combination of both?
Well, during the time, COVID had just started, all the schools were just getting shut down. So there was a lot of uncertainty there that brought me back home. But also just hearing, I have friends on the team. Alakai Todd is one of them who's, going to be one of our big opposites this year. We've been friends since high school, and he was just telling me how great the program is, how much he's learned in terms of volleyball, how much he's grown as a person. So just hearing that kind of stuff, hearing, the good words everyone had to say about UH, along with the uncertainty and just what I know of how great the coaches here are at developing talent. It was a very easy decision.
Okay, now we're kind of talking about your schedule. Like basically, there's a lot of volleyball in your 365 days in a year. When that time comes, or that period of time when you actually, A, I'm not playing on the beach, B, I'm not trading for UH. What do you like to do? Non-volleyball related, free time, I am going to do what?
I love to eat really good food. So Ono's Seafood is definitely a spot that I like to go to when I have some free time. And I also love body surfing. So you can find us, you can find half our team at Makapu or Sandy on the weekends. So that's mainly the things I like to do on my free time when I have some.
Your team has a lot of, has some foreign players, obviously players from the mainland. You're from here. So is there kind of an Alakai and some of these other guys, the local guys, do the mainland and foreigners just quickly come to you and say, dude, where do we go to do this? Where can you take me to go there? Is it kind of like this constant, I'm the Uber for everybody?
There's definitely a little bit of an adjusting period, but I would say that a lot of the international guys are almost more local than a lot of my friends that I know from here, in the way that obviously, they won't ever say that they're from Hawaii or that they're, Hawaiian or anything like that, but they're really quick to embrace our culture, the aloha spirit. They love to talk pidgin. So there's a little bit of adjusting period, but if you were to listen to some of our conversations in the locker room, you would know by their accents, but if you took the accents away, you wouldn't know who was local and who wasn't.
Who is the best at speaking pidgin?
Ooh, of the international guys?
Yeah. They could, obviously they're not going to be authentic, but at least they could get by. Who's the best?
I'm going to say it's a tie between Jakob and Philip, for sure.
Really?
They are local Pradas.
Oh, no way. I saw them shopping at Ala Moana Macy's one day, two of them together.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, they're just, I think Jakob was looking for a shirt or something. When it comes to school, what's kind of your plans now as far as academic-wise? Like, what's your major? What's kind of your plans after you graduate?
Yeah, I'm currently majoring in finance. That's actually a really great question. I've been trying to answer that myself. Still trying to decide if I want to pursue a master's or just head right into the financial business, the finance industry. Also trying to decide if I want to go to the mainland and try to break into investment banking somehow, or stay here and try to work locally. But to be honest with you, I'm not too sure. I do know that I love finance. I do like cranking numbers on the side outside of volleyball.
Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my interests.
Wow, that's nice. I forgot to ask you this, but when you transferred from BYU to Hawaii, did you go through the transfer portal process?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I went through the transfer. Yep.
So how does that work? Everyone says that word, transfer portal, transfer portal. Oh, it's easier. But how is that process exactly?
The transfer portal actually makes it really easy to transfer. Basically, BYU just puts my name into the portal, and all the D1 coaches will, or I guess everyone in NCAA men's volleyball will be able to see that I'm now listed in the transfer portal. And then I got some phone calls right away, and then got in touch with Charlie through it. I think he had my number somehow from like one of the camps I did in high school with him a while back. But yeah, it's the transfer portal is really, it makes it a lot easier. You don't necessarily have to go out and contact any coaches really. They'll see your name, and if they kind of recognize you from playing or any informal scrimmages or whatever it is, they'll if they're interested, obviously they'll give you a call.
How soon was that call from Coach Charlie Wade, from the time you entered your name in the portal to you got the call?
Oh, okay. So I don't know if I should be saying this actually, but he was the last one to call me, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah. So I was actually pretty close to going somewhere else, not going to name where, but a couple days before I was about to make my decision, Charlie gave me a call, talked about the fans here and representing, where I'm from, and talked about some of the great people that had come before me. I specifically remember him sending me this picture of Kupono Fei. I think it's a mural up in the stand now. He sent me that picture, and I was in awe of him. Growing up, I'd watched him, and Charlie's a really good salesman. He knows how to, kind of get you to see how it'll benefit you, and not necessarily try to sell you, but, show you how great of an opportunity it could be. And I'm really, really grateful for that. I'm just so grateful.
Are you able to say who was the first school to call you?
Yeah, it was Pepperdine, David Hunt.
Pepperdine. Okay, they were the first one. Yeah. Okay. Well, gee, took Charlie long enough. I guess next time, good thing he finally snuck in there.
Well, I think you have to be constantly checking the transfer portal, and I'm not sure how many names are on there or whatever. And I didn't do a good job either. I didn't reach out to anyone. So, looking back at that, I could have definitely done a better job just being like, hey, I'm in the transfer portal, would you guys be interested or whatever? But yeah, I'm sure, most of the time, I'm sure people are emailing schools to let these coaches know, rather than just sitting back like I did, kind of just waiting for the call.
Well, if the calls are coming in, right? Hey, it's why? Sorry that. Okay, I want to conclude this by playing a game that I play with all my guests. So it's called, for volleyball, I call it quick sets. All it is I'm going to give you these quick questions and just answer them off the top of your head. Okay? Real simple stuff. It's nothing with finance or anything like that. So just quick stuff. Okay? So you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. So quick sets with Kana'i Akana. Best volleyball memory is what?
Winning the national championship. That was unreal. That was an easy one.
Very good. What is the volleyball skill that you're the weakest at?
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to say hitting sharp angle.
Then what would be the skill that you're the best at?
Hitting line or power tipping. I love power tipping, man. Hey, anyone listening to this, you guys got to try just power tipping it in the seam. It works every time, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, I can't wait to see it in a game. Then I say, oh, no, there it is. That's the power tip you're talking about. Who's your volleyball idol?
Ooh, wow. Okay. I'm going to say, I'm gonna get for this. I don't know what I should say. I'm gonna say Colton.
Colton? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's the man.
Oh, that's cool. The most common thing people say to you because you're tall.
Oh, actually, I don't really get that. well, normal people actually, they just go, wow, that's really tall. But it's mainly from really short people because
Well, there's a lot of them here in Honolulu, right? You know, everybody's usually looking up to you. Favorite movie is that you could watch at least 5 times over and over.
oh, okay. Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Either Two Towers or Return of the King. Just watched Return of the King last night. Pretty nerdy, but I don't know why. I like the big fight scenes in movies.
a TV series that you binge watched or would like to binge watch.
Game of Thrones, kind of along the same theme as Lord of the Rings, I guess. I guess I'm discovering more about myself.
Superhero power that you'd want to have.
Ooh, okay, this is a good one. Whatever Superman has, because I actually just thought about this the other day. A lot of the superpowers that people choose, I don't know if they would apply, like speed. I don't know if that would apply out in space, and space is pretty darn big. So your superpower would really only apply to a very small proportion of the galaxy or the universe. So it wouldn't really be that great of a superpower. So Superman for sure, because he can go through space.
Hey, that's why they call him Superman, right? Oh,
Yeah.
and the last one is food item that you could eat at least for 5 days straight.
Poke bowl. That one is easy.
What specific poke? Anything?
Spicy ahi
Oh.
all day long.
I lied. Last question. Give us a little synopsis of how the team's looking.
Ooh, okay. So we're gonna see January 5th. That's our first game against Loyola, but you guys are gonna see. I already know, but I think we're looking really good. Playing with those seniors who graduated, Pat Rado, Gage, Colton. Obviously, that was super high level, and we got to practice against those guys, practice with those guys every single day. And when you're just competing at that high level for a year, or my teammates have been competing at that high level for multiple years, it really kind of just molds you as a player and kind of shapes the team culture and just overall raises the level in the gym for years to come.
Yeah, can't wait for the season to begin to hopefully bring another banner into the Simplify Arena at the Stan Sheriff Center. Kana'i Akana, thank you so much for being a part of Fan Friday Talk Story. This has been a lot of fun, and good luck in the season.